That was one time we thought we were going to get murdered. This past weekend, here's another case in which I still think we're very lucky. We got a flyer at a coffee shop, and we get this flyer. It's the normal flyer. It says like they're having like this. It sounds like a yard sale. Like we have junk and toys and artwork and antiques and stuff. Cool, we'll go. We show up, and this is all 100% true. We show up, and there is a sign on the ground that says, "Follow the ribbon to the gifts." Well, that's enough of a red flag to not go. And then there is a ribbon that goes about 30 yards that way, and then it takes a turn. We follow it, and it's tied to like a doorknob, and then there's a sign on the window that says, "Gifts inside." And it's like a really busted down little one-bedroom apartment that looks like it could be a meth lab. And my wife turns around, she goes, "I don't think we should do this." And I just go, "Knock on the door." I make her knock on the door. She knocks on the door. This man answers his door. He's very sweaty. And I can only describe him as a man that most likely sleeps in full clown makeup at night. I was very scared quickly. And he just says, "Come inside." And we did. We shouldn't have done that. Yeah. So now we're standing in this guy's living room, and it's very scary. It's just floor to ceiling, like weird clutter, and it doesn't smell great. And then he just points around the corner to where we can't see, and he says, "The gallery is that way." This is not a home that could be big enough to feature a gallery, by the way. And we just nervously walk to the gallery. And we want to communicate, but he's right there. And we're both I just keep my head on a swivel. I just kind of turn at all times to face him. And then we go to the gallery. It's just like board games and toys, like all over the place. It's very messy and weird. And we want to talk about how scared we are. But he's 2 feet away on the other side of the gallery. So then, out of nowhere, he just starts blasting classical music, which is the #1 musical choice of serial killers. And it's like, well, here it comes. Let's make sure to not accept any super drink offerings. And then we just grab the first thing we see. We just grab, there was Beethoven Second, the board game, the movie Beethoven Second, featuring Charles Grodin and a bunch of dogs. It's from the 90s. There's a board game, apparently, which is definitely something a serial killer would own. And we're just like, maybe if we buy this, he won't kill us, you know? So we buy this board game, and he lets us go. And it was so crazy. And we were like, then we were almost like why did he let us go? Like, what's wrong? Like, why are we killable? I don't know. And then this is my theory. I think that this guy loves board games so much that he heard us knock, and he grabs a knife, and he holds it up. And then before he does anything, he grabs dice and he rolls it, and he rolls a 4, and he goes, "Damn it! I won't let them die today." And then rules are rules, and then he let us go. You know. But that's a new one. It needs some work. But this happened like 3 days ago. The day before, by the way, we went to Dallas to visit some family. And while we were hanging out there in Dallas, the Dallas Marathon was running through my wife's cousin's neighborhood. So we took their 3.5-year-old, to go watch the marathon. And I just fed him lines to motivate the runners. It was awesome. He would single out people that weren't running fast, and he would just yell stuff like, "Pick up the pace! It's a run, not a walk!" And my favorite, "Even I can run faster, and I have tiny baby legs." 3 people quit the race. One guy cried. An adult man cried. It was awesome. I think that guy was running from demons, too. And that guy definitely fell off whatever wagon he was on right after. That was great. Oh, boy. to no, I don't know if this isn't like common knowledge, but Amish people. I'm the king of transition, by the way. I don't know if everybody knows this, but Amish people have an experimental phase where they can like do anything basically for like a year or two. I think when they turn 16, I believe it's called Rumspringa. Basically, they can do drugs. They can play with the devil that is electricity. They can do whatever. And then at the end of that phase, they can decide if they want to like go back to their old Amish ways or be cool. And I was thinking about this recently. I was like, can you imagine some Amish kid that's like just really experimenting? And this happens a lot. He's just like doing some mushrooms one night and he like throws acid on top of that and he's already seeing tracers and geometrical shapes, And then some buddy offers him a DMT pen and now he's down the rabbit hole. You know what I mean? This guy's gone. And he is outside and there's trees everywhere. And every time, like he looks up, the leaves have become like a million eyes, And every time the wind blows through the trees, it's the universe like whispering all of its secrets to him, And eventually the tree turns into a snake that wraps around him. And suddenly he is trapped by this scary yet magnificent and beautiful universe. And then this benevolent being comes out of nowhere and makes him feel loved and saved. And then he comes down from that trip and he thinks, you know what? I really want to go back to churning butter. That's way cooler than this. Good Lord. Go back to the drugs, you idiot. What are you doing? That's a long way for that one. What am I doing? Did you guys know? Audible. Did you guys know that over 8 million horses died in World War I? 8 million. Yeah, heroin is a terrible drug, you guys. I think if you get on a plane and you see that the pilot has a bowl cut, you should be able to exit the plane immediately, no questions asked. She's like, I saw what you did, not under duress. With lives at stake. That was a fun adventure. What does that say? They say Jack and the Beanstalk. They say the lesson of Jack and the Beanstalk is to make the best of a bad situation. But I think the lesson is you're greatly rewarded when you murder and rob someone. Let's be real. That guy got real lucky with those beans. That was crazy. I knew not to do that. You guys are right. My wife and I like to screw with people. We'll have people over. We like to fuck people. We're swingers. Talk to me after the show, guys. Let's all fuck after the show. Anyway, she's here. She's really on board for this. We're gonna have a cool night. What I was gonna say, a lot of comedians after the show sell merchandise. I'm not selling anything tonight, but I will say that I am part of a club. You guys can join. It's called the Ancestors of Light, and we meet in a meadow every first Sunday. And eventually, our goal is to transcend to the space cave, the light cave. And some of you are snickering. Maybe you're not ready for the 70 world, but we are. I don't know. Has anybody seen that Mother Cult documentary? Good Lord. Mother God Cult thing? I don't know what I'm saying anyway. What if I was at the end, like we're all having a good time, and I'm just like, hey guys, join my cult, and then we have a great time. I mean, it seems like they're having a good time till she died and stuff. But anyway, what am I talking about? Where am I? I gotta start wrapping up here. Oh, that's not even what I was gonna talk. My wife and I like to mess with people, you know, like we'll screw with guests when they come over. Like we'll have like a little dinner party and we'll like just cut somebody off from like having a serious conversation. You know, somebody will be talking, we're like, I'll just be like, hey, can you just shut up right now? Just 1 second. And then I'll point to my wife and I'll be like, hey, honey, can you drop that beat? And then my wife will just drop the worst, shittiest, whitest, just, and then I'll just like do the worst, dumbest dance. And she'll point to me and go, oh yeah, that is nice. Mommy likey. And we'll just do it until everybody leaves. That's how, if we're tired at the end of the night and people don't pick up on that, that's what we do. Does anybody here know who Richard Gere is? Anybody know? If you don't know who he is, he was this very mediocre actor that had a lot of success in the 90s, best known film-wise for the hit film Pretty Woman, starring opposite Julia Roberts. But who here knows what he's really best known for? Gerbils, that is correct. Now, anyone here that doesn't know who Richard Gere is, you're very confused. Here's what happened. In the 90s, Richard Gere's career took off, but as it did, something else took off. A rumor that one day he had to go to the hospital to have a gerbil removed from his ass for some kind of sexual pleasure. Yeah, this happened. And this was like pre-internet, you guys. This was like a street team of people that are like, Richard Gere has a gerbil up his ass, pass it on. And they did. I asked who here knows. People yelled out gerbil. I don't know these people. It worked. It fucking worked. It was impressive. And I remember at the time I was little, and people would be like, "Oh, that sucks for that guy." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Even then, I was like, "That's awesome." Like that gerbil is a status symbol for that guy. Somebody was so jealous of his career, they had to make up a rumor that he had a gerbil stuck up his ass, you know? And I just hope that whenever Richard Gere passes away, which hopefully is a long time from now, but when he does, that he has a sense of humor about the whole thing. Like, next to his tombstone, there's just a tiny little tombstone that says, "My buddy." You know? That'd be awesome. Oh, let me see what wrap it up here. To the Chef Boyardee. I didn't get to Batman, but that's fine. Deviled eggs. I covered corn dogs. We did that. Guys, give it up for your staff, everybody, and tip them well. Really, they're the best. I love this place. And keep supporting live comedy. You guys are awesome. Oh, man. Okay, what do I go with? Okay, we'll go with this guy. What am I doing? Yeah, okay. Do I have room for two more? I don't know if anybody's even here. Okay. Heather, is that, or no, dude, I need, all right. You good? Okay, cool. I'll speed through. Okay, here we go. We'll go with this and that. Okay. Guys, okay, I'm going to pass this on to you guys, but just know, be careful with this gift I'm about to give you because it's basically a psychological weapon and it's very dangerous and I really screwed up my friend Jimmy's life, but it's very funny. Here's what happened. A while back, my friend Jimmy often would text me like details about or he'd call me and like tell me about these dreams he had. They're real crazy. And one day, just for fun, I texted his wife and I was like, "Hey, next time Jimmy tells you about a crazy dream, text me first and give me every detail. And then I'm gonna, And then I'm gonna call Jimmy and tell him about the dream that I had. That's his dream before he has a chance to tell me." And she was like, "Oh, this is gonna mess him up good. Let's do it." So about a week passes, she texts me like all these details of a dream, and then I called Jimmy that night. I don't open with it, that's too obvious, it felt like. I was just like, hey, man. I was like, before we go, I got to tell you about this crazy dream I had. I was like, I was part of this gang of space pirates, and our sole job was to protect this weird ice planet from these crazy, evil space beetles, right? And Jimmy's quiet. This is his fucking dream. But even in the silence, I can hear like how tense he is. And I keep going. I'm like, yeah. And then, out of nowhere, these evil pirates come along, and we get in this big fight. I end up drowning their captain in a vat of pickle juice. And that's when Jimmy snaps a little. He was like, are you fucking serious right now? It's like, oh my God. And I was like, whoa, that's rude. Can I continue? And I keep going. And I was like, then I've now, because I killed their captain, I accidentally started this intergalactic space war. But I bounce on that because my wife's never been to the Oscars on Earth. So we're suddenly on Earth, and we're at the Oscars. We're having a good time. And then out of nowhere, my wife gets on stage and starts dancing in front of, and interrupts the whole show. And I'm so embarrassed because we are seated next to Meryl Streep, and I'm thinking she is gonna hate this, but she doesn't. She points to my wife and she says, you go, girl. And that's when Jimmy freaks out. He was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is fucking happening. You're never gonna believe this, but I had that same dream last night. And I was like, dude, I'm pretty sure it's a pretty common dream. He continues to panic. His only thought is maybe Meryl Streep passed away and it's all in our subconscious, and that's why we're all having this collective dream. He Googles, is Meryl Streep dead? She is not. He goes back to almost crying. Eventually, like after a lot of panic, I'm like, hey buddy, I'm sorry, I gotta go. And I get off the phone, and I should call him back immediately, tell him it's a joke. I don't. I should call him the next day. I don't. I keep this going for 4 more months and 12 more dreams. 12 dreams later, I call Jimmy. He sounds like a broken man. He's just like, oh, hey, buddy. And I was like, dude, I gotta tell you about this crazy dream I had. And he was just like, before you get into that, I gotta talk to you, man. My blood pressure's through the roof. I had to up my anxiety meds. And finally I was like, gotcha, bitch! Hey, I'll end on that. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for coming out. Have a great night. Take care.
Doug Mallard, everybody, come on. Oh my God.